From our next episode.
Hi, it's me again, Sergeant Harris. Some of you know me as Nikki Harris. Just kind of wanted to talk to you about the effects of murder. I'm just going to tell you something real quick. When I got the call that my sister was murdered about 3 in the morning, I went home and I remember I was at the funeral home trying to make arrangements for payment. And as soon as I made the arrangements for payment, the funeral director told one of the other guys to go ahead and pick up my sister's body from the morgue. And I remember the next day I came in and I asked the funeral director where my sister was, and me and him was sitting in his office, and then he just pointed across the hallway. He said, "She's in there." And he said, "Would you like to see her?" And at first I was like, nah, because I knew she was shot in the head, and I didn't know with what type of weapon. I didn't know to what extent with the damage. And I just didn't think I was prepared to see something like that. Even though I've been to Iraq and I've seen headless bodies and bodies in parts and pieces, I just wasn't prepared to see my sister like that. And I never forget when we stood up and I held on tight. I wrapped my arms around the funeral director. I was so scared, y'all. And I don't know why I was scared, because my sister was dead and I knew she wasn't going to get up and start walking around. But it was just something in me that was just scary. So we walked very, very slowly to the room. The lights were off, the door was open, and the funeral director, he cut the lights on. And when I looked in the room, I saw 2 bodies. All the way to the left corner, it was this old lady. She was just laying there. The head was facing towards the door. And I knew that wasn't my sister. And right in front of me, all I saw was a head. And then I saw feet. And just by looking at my sister's feet, I knew it was her without even looking at her face. So all I saw was the top of her head. And at the time of her death, her hair was very, very short. It was black. And it had some green hair dye in it. So I asked the funeral director, I said, well, which side is the bad side? And he said the right side, because she was shot in the right temple. And it went straight through. I think it went here, and then it went out behind this ear. So I inched around and I saw the hole in her head. I saw the autopsy markings. I saw where they took and they peeled her face back, and I saw how they put it back on. And I remember she was just laying there, and I just begged God so hard. I had never begged God that much in my life. I kept begging God, Lord, please breathe breath into her one more time, please. And I remember I kept begging, and I kept touching her body because she hadn't been embalmed yet. And I knew that this would be the last time that I would get a chance to feel the softness of her body. Her lips had started to turn pale, her nose. And I remember I just started touching my sister everywhere. I was touching her nose. I was touching her lips. And I just never forget how much I begged God to breathe breath into her. So what I'm telling y'all is, I don't know what's going on with all these murders, all these young black men, young white men, everybody. People are getting killed, y'all. And some of you may have never experienced losing a loved one to a murder. But I'm here to tell you, if you had to see what I saw, I would never forget what I saw. Every time I think about my sister, that's what I see, y'all. I see how she was laying on that table. I saw the hole in her head. I saw the autopsy markings. And I'm begging to God to breathe breath. And so what I'm asking y'all is, put the guns down. Put the knives down. Think of a better way, y'all. Think of a better way to solve your problems other than taking somebody's life. Because you don't understand the pain that's associated with it. It doesn't matter if your loved one, yeah, we have people that's out here doing things wrong. And if you're out there doing things like that, think twice. Because when somebody takes you out, your family's just going to be looking just like me. Red eyes and crying. So what I'm asking y'all is, ask yourself this. Do you ever want to stand and look at your loved one laying on that table and beg God or whoever it is that you believe in, or if you don't believe in nobody, but you're begging somebody to breathe breath one more time?